The world in which we live is becoming increasingly insecure and less trusting day by day. Mistrust and insecurity prompt many nations to invest enormous amounts on securing the borders of their nations in order to be safe from their neighbors, especially from the hostile neighbors. The word trust is a small word, but it makes a big impact in relationships. In fact, we can confidently say trust rules every relationship, be it marriage, family, community, or a friendship. Every relationship from the personal to the global rests on the bedrock of trust. It is trust that keeps a relationship going, and when trust is broken, the relationship is dead. According to Erik Erikson, the developmental psychologist, the first developmental task the infant has before it is establishing a sense of trust, which takes place in the very first year of a child's personality development. After the birth, first few months, the infant is completely dependent on these significant others for its survival. When a child's physical and emotional needs are adequately met, the infant develops a sense of trust in the significant others and comes to believe that the world is a good place to live and the caregivers are trustworthy. On the contrary, when caretakers are inconsistent and become unpredictable in meeting its needs, the child develops a deep sense of distrust. So much so, the world seems dangerous, hostile, and unpredictable place. This prompts the child to be on its guard, to be in control. The child believes if I control everything, then no one can catch me off guard and hurt me. That is to say, children learn trust from trustworthy caretakers. Failure to develop a trust in the early years of life, a person finds it extremely difficult to enter into intimacy in the adult life, because intimacy demands that each partner in the relationship accept the other just the way he or she is. Such people either end up being controlling or become gullible and trust anyone and everyone. So, if there is one problem that the modern world is facing, I believe it is disconnection. Disconnection between married couples, disconnection between parents and children, disconnection between siblings, disconnection in the religious communities, and so on. It's a well-known fact that more and more marriages are going for separation these days. And the number one reason for the separation seems to be the lack of trust between the married partners. When there is a betrayal of trust, the relationship is characterized by a climate of suspicion and doubt, followed by conflicts, gradually leading to emotional disconnect between the spouses. Therefore, it takes courage for a partner to trust the other in marriage, because trusting someone involves risk. That is to say, a climate of trust can develop only when married partners are willing to risk to trust the other. However, trust does not happen automatically, nor does it happen overnight. Trust is invested and earned by both the partners in a marriage. As someone beautifully said, trust is like a bank account. You have got to keep making deposits if you want it to grow. When two people get married, I believe the least minimum expected from them is to believe that he or she is married to a good person and begin to trust the other no matter what. This is essential both for the survival and the happiness of marriage. When both partners trust each other, the relationship flowers and grows beautifully. Betrayal of trust is the most painful experience in any relationship. Once trust is broken, it can never be the same. As someone beautifully put it, trust is like a sticker. Once it is removed, it may stick again, but not as strong as it held when you first applied. Therefore, never break someone's trust in you. In this context, when someone says, I don't trust you or I can't trust you, it has more to do with you than other person. It is possible that this person had some painful experiences around trust in the earlier years. And today he or she finds it really difficult to trust anyone and everyone. The basic problem is lack of trust in oneself. Therefore, the first person I must examine is myself. I need to ask myself, do I trust myself enough? If I can trust myself, I can trust others too. Trust is a major concern between parents and children too. Often we hear the adolescents saying, my parents do not trust me. The moment parents put some restrictions on their children, they feel they are not trusted enough. Though partially right. Teenagers by nature tend to engage in certain risky behaviors like taking drugs, riding a motorcycle on the highways without license, experimenting with their sexuality, etc. And parents do not want to take any chance in letting their children getting into such problems. Nonetheless, the adolescents want their parents to trust them and give them their liberty to do what they feel like. However, trust here is a two-way process. The parents need to let go of their fears and give freedom to their teenage children to learn from their own mistakes, and the children on their part need to assure their parents that they can be trusted by being transparent, if not all, in most of the matters. Only then the relationship between parents and teenagers can grow. Finally, trust is not only a psychological virtue, it is also a spiritual virtue. Without trust, we cannot enter into relationship with God. Reason being, often we relate to God as we relate to our parents. We have a beautiful example in the person of Jesus. Jesus trusted his Father so completely that he entrusted his whole life and the mission for which he was sent in the hands of his Father. He was fully confident that his Father would work out his plan of salvation in spite of the ineffectual means used and the apparent failure. Similarly, Mother Mary showed her complete trust in God by accepting to be used for his plan of salvation in spite of her nothingness. For she knew that he who is mighty can do great things in her and through her. Luke chapter 1 verse 49. Therefore, life on earth is a trust. To believe means not to see but to trust. To believe is to surrender oneself to a person. Hence, everyone needs to master the skills of sizing up a situation and making judgment as to when it is appropriate to trust and when it is not. And if you do not trust, you are the loser, because everything revolves around trust.